Hello, everybody, and welcome to the August 19th episode of Trips and Traps. I'm Andy Serling, joined by Donovan.
Full slate of races to bring you this week. 6 races altogether. We'll start off with a couple of turf sprints, and we'll go back to August 11th. We'll take a look at race number 6. Looking at the 6, Expat, the 7, Recharge. The 7, Recharge, a first-time starter from the Linda Rice barn, who will probably get bet again next time out.
Yeah, this horse is also eligible, actually, on this Saturday's card. I have a feeling probably won't get in. And Expat, of course, back here in the pack. They're kind of together. This was a race, it's important to note, that completely collapsed, where the speeds collapsed, and the horse that won was dead last out of the picture right now.
Yeah, the horse that wins is College Grad, who actually showed speed in his career debut, but comes from off the pace this time. Really, both horses that we're looking at here having a decent trip up to this point. We'll stop it and take a look at where they are. If anyone at this point, Expats may be having a little bit of trouble in behind Recharge there and having to steady a little bit and just kind of wait as they run around the turn here. But I thought more significant trouble coming for Recharge in the stretch. It's kind of debatable, though, as to how significant it was, and Andy and myself, I think, are of a little bit differing opinions here, although I might not be that far off them. And you see they steady and check again there as they come off the far turn and head into the stretch. Now, they're in about the 3 and 5 path here, and Recharge is going to try to look for some running room here. The jockey aboard Recharge, Cornelio Velasco, is going to decide to duck down to the inside, going to get beaten to the hole there, and then have to stop riding briefly there, and then kind of just has a handful there and really nowhere to go. At this point, the race is kind of lost momentum-wise. I don't know how much more this horse could have gotten back into the race here. Certainly didn't finish all that great once, the horse got clear, but I thought the race was pretty much done with at the point that horse had trouble. The question is, it's a Linda Rice horse. It's a turf sprint. There's going to be a trouble line. Did the horse really run that good to warrant betting at a short price next time out?
Yeah, I don't like either of these horses, to be honest, because both of them were so with the dynamics, and granted, Expat had a little bit of trouble into the stretch and circled the field. The winner had a great trip. The winner got a great ride by Channing Hill. There's no doubt about it, and that helped make the horse best. I don't want horses that were going with the dynamics, and the fact is that the 7, Recharge, was beaten to the hole because it wasn't fast enough to get there.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I think he did have to alter course a little bit to get there, while the other horses had to maintain a straight course. But Recharge and also eligible on Saturday, as you mentioned. We'll see if he gets in there, or we'll have to wait till next week perhaps. But I thought an interesting race just to talk about there. Not to say that I really loved either one of them. Next race.
One thing, wasn't a horse involved in this pace, that $60 horse that came back to win stretching out here on, was it Sunday or Monday? I believe so. This might be a race you want to look for horses involved in the pace that might be a little more interesting.
That's a good point. Second race of the program here will be August 12th, race number 10, Wildcat Alley and Girl Bar. Fillies and mares in action in here, and Girl Bar is going to have the trouble soon after the start here. We'll highlight Girl Bar, the number 4 horse, and the 1 Wildcat Alley as well. There's Wildcat Alley. There's the 4 Girl Bar and the black and gold silks. And this race kind of developed slowly, I thought, for a turf sprint. You see Girl Bar had the trouble there, get kind of pushed back to last. And, for a turf sprint, I thought this pace was very, very ordinary.
Well, there's a big reason for that. It's because Girl Bar got completely eliminated at the break, because Girl Bar was the speed in this race. Now, I don't think she was going to be out there blazing away, but the point with Girl Bar, if you liked her in this race, you can throw this race completely out. Now, I'm not saying I liked her. I'm not saying I would want to bet her in the future. I might not. Depends where she ends up. But getting eliminated at the start for a horse that was going to control the race, and as you said, it ends up being relatively slow up front, it totally changed the dynamic of the race.
As opposed to the last race that we showed you, where horses from way back did well. The horses all in the top 4 here finished 1, 2, 3, 4 in a kind of a mixed-up order, but there you see Girl Bar coming into the stretch there, and also Wildcat Alley down toward the inside, going to have a little traffic trouble in the stretch. Not sure that was really meaningful or not, though, but I thought the pace dynamic was up against Girl Bar here, and even in this point here, still has to switch out for racing room. I don't know if there was much to do about that, but the 4 horses in front just really took off from the group in here, and Girl Bar manages to get back into the race late, and finishes a decent enough 5th in here that you, like you said, can throw out this race and go back to some of our other races.
Right. This race was over 30 yards into it, if not less. Another interesting note about Girl Bar was that, whether you like her or not, she went from 9-2 to 3-1 with about a minute or less going to the gate. So somebody liked her, and somebody made a very, very big bet on her for her to make that kind of drop late in the race. In fact, that's one of the reasons the winner, Linda Rice horse, odds went up so much. So Girl Bar might be a little interesting in the future. The only problem is she sort of found the right spot in this race, because there wasn't that much pace signed on, so it depends where she shows up. But she was well meant for this race and had no shot.
One more race to bring you in this first segment here. We'll take a look at some nice-looking 2-year-olds. This race run on August 14th, race number 8. Of course, this is the race won by Stay Thirsty, but Magna Cove and Fair Fairwit, the ones we want to look at earlier. Magna Cove is a ton of trouble at the start.
Yeah, Magna Cove, and we'll show the head-on after we show the pan shot of the race to show you why the two Magna Cove is steadying out. And Fairwit was a first-time starter for Darley. I thought ran pretty well, fighting inside the whole well in a horse that looked like it might not have been 100% fit to run in this race. So Fairwit's going to run better in this race. Magna Cove caught my eye because it was a Tim Ice first-time starter. There could have been any price in this race, and Stay Thirsty was 3-5 in here. And actually, even though it went off 30-1, it was like 12, 13-1 until very late in the betting, and felt like it was taking a little bit of money in here. And with the trouble and the late close circling the field, considering the dynamics where speed basically held in here, I thought Magna Cove's a little interesting going forward.
I agree with you, and I think Fairwit might be a little bit interesting going forward too. I mean, Stay Thirsty was much the best on paper going into the race, won at 3-5 in here. But we'll take a look and see where exactly Magna Cove is as we come to the top of the stretch. Still not on the screen. There's Magna Cove toward the back in the black cap, just barely getting on the screen up front. Fairwit still trying to keep up with Stay Thirsty in the middle stages of the race here. But there is Magna Cove toward the back. Keep an eye on Magna Cove. Just swings wide and finishes up with a good run here.
Yeah, I all things considered, Magna Cove certainly showed that he can run a little bit. I don't know, what will necessarily happen second time, but with a clean break, this horse might have a little more speed, and I showed enough in this race that could clearly be okay, and Fairwit, obviously, dealing with the early pace in here. Not that it was a pace that fell apart. It just ran okay and showed enough in this race. He has some ability just to have that speed. I think it'll be interesting second time out for both of these horses. Here's the trouble at the start.
Yeah, take a look at Magna Cove there, sandwiched from both sides. Three horses getting the best of Magna Cove at the start there, and that's part of the reason why he was so far back early on.
Yeah, not to say where he would have been if he hadn't gotten squeezed out. It would have been a different dynamic of the race, but the horse certainly didn't just lag at the back of the pack. That does it for this first episode of Trips and Traps. Once again, we always like to hear your thoughts. We can use all the help we can get, Trips and Traps, at NYRAInc.com. Thanks for watching.
And come on back for the second segment.